As spring 2024 closes, there's one show that I want to spotlight amongst everything that just concluded. Jellyfish Can't Swim the Night is a show that I highlighted in my spring 2024 quick takes video, and I have to say that it met my expectations and then far surpassed them. There were several shows this season that talked about artists and the mentality behind it, but I think that the same level of love for media shown within Oshinoko is present in Jellyfish. They take the time to build the world and themes of the show rather than rushing into the core of the story. Even with 12 episodes, they opted for world building and plot threads that entangle upon each other, which works really well. So this is my comprehensive review of Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night. Before we start though, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a like and comment as it sincerely does help the channel. Thank you, and off to episode 1. Episode 1 introduces us to 2 of our 4 heroines, and it's really important that we discuss the motif of the show, that you are only as strong as the people around you. They make this very clear by showing the imagery of a jellyfish and saying jellyfish are not capable of swimming on their own. They go even further, saying they simply drift going along with the flow of water. We get that core message within the first minute of the anime, and it establishes a really good flow for the rest of the story. It is an anime about humans and our inherent need to want to create, whether that be visual art, music, or literature. Our central protagonist is Yoru, who is having feelings of self-doubt about her artwork. She is an illustrator, and we see that she scratches her name off of her illustration of a jellyfish. It is only when an idol desecrates her drawing that she starts to stand up for her art, but even then she can't do it. A blonde passerby, on the other hand, sticks up for Yoru instead, and we then see her stalk the woman who stood up for her. This woman is our second protagonist, retired idol Kano. We will see more of her backstory in episode 2. Yoru is caught following her, and Nano then interrogates her. It is here where Yoru reveals that she's the one who painted the jellyfish mural, and the two of them start to bond. Kano shows her motivations for becoming the anonymous artist JELEE, preferring to keep her identity secret as a result of her past treatment when she was an idol. This is central to the story going forward. Kano asks Yoru to be her illustrator for JELEE, and she initially says no. Yoru explains that she hasn't drawn in years and that she lacks the confidence to draw without caring about what other people think. Kano responds to this by saying, "You're more ordinary than I thought," to which Yoru runs away from her, devastated. She falls to the ground saying, "I always run away." There's an interesting dynamic between the two of them, with one being someone who wants to confront the haters and the other one running away from them. It is this flight or flight response that is inherently human and shows the various ways in which we as humans react to pressure. Later that week on Halloween, Yoru and Kano reunite at the mural with the idol still singing there. Kano apologizes for what she said, and this prompts her to say that she also won't give in and that she doesn't want to lose sight of who she is. Kano then borrows an acoustic guitar and barges her way in front of the idol, asking if she could have the space for a bit. We see Kano singing and playing a song which flashes memories from the past to Yoru, and it is only when she remembers Kano saying, "I want to play in front of your jellyfish," that she's able to muster up the courage to take down the poster covering up her artwork. Kano takes Yoru's hand and they run through a tunnel, signifying their union and ability to move past the past. The motif of jellyfish not being able to swim by themselves comes back, with Yoru saying that maybe if they swim together, they can shine. This moment that made me fall in love with the show, as the dynamic between the two of them is really wholesome and back and forth. Episode 2 starts with us seeing a dark-haired girl deleting a photo of her with Kano that says, "Someday when you're famous." She's about to play the piano, and this is our third protagonist of the show. We open the next episode seeing Kano and Yoru working at a cafe. Kano shows how meticulous she is, with a schedule that details when everything must be done. We then see that same dark-haired girl entering the cafe as Kano and Yoru are talking about patrons. She puts an exuberant amount of cash into the patronage dish. We are soon introduced to this girl as Kimura. Kimura is a superfan from Kano's idol days. She identified Kano by her face in a Twitter post from the cafe. She's a full-on stalker. Kimura soon launches into a fan-crazed state where she shouts things that idol fans typically would. Yoru spots a bag that is identical to Kano's and mistakenly thinks that Kimura has stolen Kano's bag. This is a misunderstanding, and instead, the two of them just have the same exclusive bag that Kano designed for her idol days. This prompts her to say that all the funds that she gave Kano were to help relaunch her career. Kano disagrees and hands her back the money, saying she can't do it with tears in her eyes. We then realize that Kano and Kimura have swapped bags on accident, and within Kimura's bag is a composed instrumental that Kano likes. Kano and Yoru go to Kimura's school to try and get their stuff swapped back, and this is where Kano asks Kimura to be the composer for JELEE. Kimura only seems interested if Kano's past idol self would be the person to do it, so at this point she declines. We then see a flashback of Kimura being bullied in school, with her despair only being fixed through meeting Kano at an idol event in the past. We see the humanity of Kano shining through, and she talks about how she doesn't have any friends. Kimura relates, and she confides with Kano that she plays piano. Kano insists that she'll go listen to Kimura play piano someday, and we see how this lifts her up. We come back from the flashback to see Kimura's hands trembling over the piano, unsure of if she can perform. This is when Kano fulfills her promise from all those years ago, waving her arms up and down as she gleefully supports Kimura. This fills Kimura up with the courage that she needs, as it did in the past, and we go back into a flashback where we see how Kimura adapted as a person. Kimura dyes her hair to match Kano's idol self. We then see her buy the tote bag in an auction and the falling out of Kano with her past idol band. All the while, it is accompanied by her piano. It's a very touching tribute piece and shows how the impact of one chance encounter can change someone's life. Kimura finishes her piece and runs to Kano, hugging her and saying that she wrote many songs for her. This is where she says that she'll join JELEE and asks if Kano will sing the songs that she writes. This episode's an absolute banger and comes across really strong. It shows how Kano has the ability to reignite someone's passions, just as she did for Yoru. Episode 3 opens up on our VTuber character streaming, with her internet persona showing that she's happy and cheery, but the second that the stream ends, she sighs, showing signs of exhaustion and depression. This is something that'll be explored within this episode or the character and throughout the entire series. We then see Kimura, Kano, and Yoru sitting down with Nox, the VTuber's persona on Discord. Kiui is the name of the person behind the VTuber, and we see as she has an obsession with superheroes from an early age. She shouts things like "Justice shall prevail." They then ask Kiui what they think about Yoru's design for JELEE, and then Yoru asks Kiui for help making the AMV for them. See little tidbits about Kiui like the figurines of superheroes like Superman and also analytics from her YouTube account and streaming. We see as Kiui plays all night and then sits around all day off stream playing. This is the same kind of thing I deal with, kind of bored with video games outside of stream. It seems like a chore, but I still do it anyways. It is here where we can infer that Kiui is skipping school and severely depressed by the look of things. Yoru finds out about this from a couple of girls who goes to Kiui's school. Yoru then reveals that she talked to a few girls from that school with Kiui and starts a confrontation between the two of them. Kiui lashes out at Yoru for going along with her lie, instead wanting Yoru to hold her accountable. We see Kiui as someone who lies to protect herself and others. It's not as if she wants to lie, but she can't help but do it. We see these feelings of self-doubt and how she's constantly ridiculed. These memories play for us, and with Kiui saying she had a good first day of school, even though she didn't. She then ends up bumping into someone, which makes her drop her phone and crack it. Kiui runs away, screaming, "You're the ones who are wrong," before arriving at the jellyfish mural that Yoru made with her. Kiui breaks down, saying she doesn't belong anywhere. I think this is a feeling that most creators have, especially streamers online, as there is an inherent need to be perpetually online instead of opting for real-life stuff. We then see Kano and Kimura going to the school festival of Yoru. Yoru asks them to call Kiui on Discord to let her see the performance, in which Yoru pleads to her whilst dancing. "Please come out of the dark place that you're in." It is a call to Kiui to try and come out and fight against her depression. It is really symbolic and touching, with Kiui then feeling motivated to finish the AMV for JELEE. Kimura and Kano praises Kiui's work, saying that she did a great job. It feels like these words of affirmation are what help Kiui push forward and get through the day. Kiui then promotes the music video on their stream and it helps it blow up a little bit. Episode 4 opens up with Kano's old idol group, the Sunflower Dolls, making a comeback. We see this as it affects Kano, but she pushes on with her day. Kiui then offers to meet with the other girls, but only if it's at Kano's place. We see Kiui coming clean with the other girls about their lies and how they don't go to school. Kano then confides with her, saying that she's the same and that she also doesn't go to school, which is a way to lift up Kiui's spirits. Episode shows the doom and gloom of the Sunflower Dolls, while also showing the girls of JELEE bonding with one another. It's a good foundational piece for the future of the show. While not as impactful, you need episodes like this to ground the show. Not every episode needs an emotional punch to the throat. That being said, there's still a central conflict with Kano wanting to release a song by next Wednesday. Kimura realizes that this is the day the Sunflower Dolls are supposed to make a comeback. The group gets into a small fight, with Kano having her own selfish reasons for pushing the need for a song to come out as soon as possible. It is because of the time restrictions of the other girls in JELEE. With Kano at the convenience store, her older sister Mion confides about Kano's past. She mentions how their parents got divorced in elementary school and how Kano wanted to do anything to earn her mother's praise. It is here where we learn that the producer for the Sunflower Dolls is actually Kano's mother, and why she became an idol in the first place. Mion says that ever since meeting the JELEE girls, Kano started to lighten up and enjoy life more. Kimura and Kiui went to look for Kano whilst Yoru cleaned Kano's room. It is here where the girls continue to bond, and they say that they should try their best after hearing about Kano's past. It is here where the girls confide in each other about the past struggles, like Kimura being unable to sing and Kiui falling from grace after elementary school. The girls work hard overnight and upload a video to YouTube, showing the grind that comes from the platform, or in general as a creator. It is a lot of hard work and effort for sometimes no results. A little sidebar here is at the end of each episode, these songs and music videos are played, which is a nice touch by the anime. It shows the fruits of their labor, and each episode gets a unique ED. This makes for a really interesting soundtrack and showcases what JELEE is doing in the anime. Another small note is that on top of this, the character for JELEE looks very reminiscent of Sakura from Cardcaptor Sakura. From the two hair beads to the hoodies and even the hat is more of the same. That's just something I wanted to point out because my wife realized this. The next episode opens up on the girls realizing that a small mistake in the audio files makes it seem like the JELEE AMV is cursed on Twitter. It also talks about YouTube and Twitter comments and the impact it has on creators. The numbers of JELEE and the videos surge after this little mishap, which is the best thing that could have happened for them, honestly. We then see Yoru daydreaming that she's famous and pretty reminiscent of how creators feel. The angst that comes from looking at the view count and comments is something any creator, even person that uses Instagram, can relate to. It consumes Yoru as she's constantly refreshing and looking at the analytics. We also see as a popular artist made fan art for JELEE, but Kano says something that invalidates Yoru's hard work, saying, "Someone this talented used their time to draw for JELEE, right?" Kano may not have intentionally tried to say this to hurt Yoru, but it's a broad slap in the face to her as she's now having feelings of self-doubt that had come up before. Kano does rectify this as soon as possible as she goes to visit a depressed Yoru and states, "Without your art, I wouldn't be singing now." However, this doesn't fix the feelings of self-doubt for Yoru as she constantly looks at the comments. She feels devalued and demoralized. It is here where she says she doesn't want to be left behind, so she gets up to draw. It is also with this realization that Yoru goes back to the jellyfish mural and puts her name back on it. With this, they post a new video with Yoru's newly improved art. It already has 10,000 views, and the Jelly Girls go out to celebrate New Year's with the connotations of luck and revival in place, as well as Yoru saying she wished for her art to continue to get better. This episode is a solid stepping stone that builds on the pre-established feelings of self-doubt and lack of self-worth that are present within Yoru and the other girls. This episode also has a song that they create present in the ED. It is as if they purposely made the first two pieces slightly unpolished for this one to flourish, a nice touch that is in tune with the artistic direction of the anime. The next episode opens with the idol from episode 1 asking JELEE to help with her image and production. It is a callback that comes full circle. The idol is beside herself and she reveals that she's been one for 14 years now without any success. Now that she's 31 years old, she feels like she has to succeed right here, right now. The idol, Miko, sees this as a mutually beneficial relationship between JELEE and her. Miko shows the side of idol life that portrays a false narrative, like how she posts things on Twitter to have a positive effect on her image. We also see as Miko has a kid, something that's frowned upon in idol life. Her daughter, Ariel, talks about how hardworking her mother is, and it shows how Miko is a single mother who works part-time jobs to afford things for the two of them. I can't help but empathize because I was raised by a single mother growing up. This might in fact be my favorite episode of the entire series, as it shows how people fight for their dreams and their families. The girls go to the cafe where they work with Ariel and do karaoke with her. We see how Ariel has her own struggles with making friends and being alone. It is her mother's passion and fight that keeps her going. It is also reflected in how Ariel treasures the idol dress that her mom got her, and how she won't wear it outside to ensure she doesn't damage it. Kimura relates to Ariel, saying she got better as a result of standing an idol. The two have very similar paths, and it's nice to see a dynamic between them go back and forth, especially as Kimura was someone who didn't have many friends growing up, or at all any, and it was a result of Kano believing in them that they started to work for themselves. We see as Ariel has doubts about herself for liking her mother, and people make fun of her because her mom is an idol. Kimura also relates to this because of the controversy that happened with Kano. She mentions how she saved her and had to believe in her. This episode is just full of tear-jerking moments that really hits you in the feels. As a result of the conversation with Kimura, Ariel gets the courage to wear her outfit outside, and she's picked on by a group of boys at her school. This is while Miko is waiting for her gig to start. The boys post a comment that pokes fun at Ariel, which prompts Miko to run and go help her daughter, leaving the gig behind and showing that she doesn't care for anything except for her daughter. JELEE has to step up to the plate and fill in for Miko while they do that, and whilst this happens, Miko finds Ariel publicly defending her. Again, this episode is just full of tear-jerker moments. This prompts Miko to reveal her true self to her fans, saying that she's actually 31, divorced, and a mom. Episode 7 is about Kiui and Kano trying to get their motorcycle license. Here we see a new woman, Koharu, who interacts with Kiui as she eats nachos. This episode is about Kiui wanting to become a middle school teacher so that she can help students that had similar experiences to her. Kiui and Kano bounce back and forth off of each other as they talk about their past loneliness and experiences. This might be my least favorite episode of the season, but it does have some good high points. Episode 8 focuses on the group working on their stage presence and planning their first official gig. It's been a full year since JELEE began, and they're doing a Halloween concert to commemorate their beginning. The big conflict in this episode comes from a crazed fan of Kano's doxing her. This ties her past idol group to JELEE, which is a total hit piece on Kano. In this episode, we get to see the vision of the band as they work to fight against the doxing and hate comments. They do their concert as Yoru does the drawings live for a live stream. This stream blows up with them going viral. More than anything, Jellyfish Can't Swim in the Night is about adversity and fighting for your passion, and this episode demonstrates it more than anything. At the end of the episode, Kano's mom writes to Yoru to try and commission some artwork for Kano's old idol group. Episode 9 picks up with this and shows as Yoru talks with Kimura to find out the truth of the past. It is inferred by Kimura that Kano's mom has a YouTube channel dedicated to slandering idols. Yoru confides about the job proposal to Kano, who is visibly conflicted. Yoru then meets with Kano's mom, who says that she was inspired by the live gig of JELEE. Through this conversation, Yoru feels inspired by Kano's mom, the same way she was inspired by Kano on their first fateful encounter. We then see a flashback of Kano's past and how her past bandmate Mero accuses Kano of nepotism. This builds the backstory between the rivalry of these two singers. Within this flashback, we see how an idol group known as Rainbow Girls was ruined because of a video of them smoking being released to the public. This opens up a spot for the Sunflower Dolls in a festival, which shows how Kano's mother could potentially be someone who destroys someone to get what she wants. But it is soon after that we realize it's actually Mero who was the whistleblower, not Kano's mother. Kano's emotions took over, and then she punched Mero in the face as she felt inclined to do something about it. This gives us the basis of Kano's psychology, feeling like she was betrayed by her past group and her mother. Yoru then reveals to the others of JELEE that she's going to take the job, which prompts Kano to lash out at Yoru. She invalidates Yoru's work and says that she's a jellyfish who can't swim without her. This is a parallel to her past group as she lashes out because of her own sense of justice taking over. These actions are short-sighted and destroy the groups from the inside. Episode 10 shows Kimura meeting Mero at the Jellyfish mural. It shows how Run and Mero is at her core. We also briefly see Miko, who's become a YouTube mukbang sensation. At the same time, Kimura stalks Mero the same way she did to Kano at the beginning of the show, which is an interesting callback. Kimura then reveals to Mero that she's a part of JELEE, and we learn that JELEE is going to cancel the livestream, which shows Miku trying to be self-serving and then trying to get them not to cancel so she can be guest on the stream. Mero reveals that she sees herself as nothing but a tool, and that she hates singing. She's the primary antagonist of the show. Mero spouts off that she thinks Kano is the same, trying to get the attention of her mother instead of singing for her own pleasure. Mero is then seen via flashback obsessing over social media, with her trying to validate her actions of the past. She's blinded by her love to be needed and loved. On the other hand, Kimura is the exact opposite way, with her not able to sing as well as Kano or Mero, but loving singing. She then sings with passion and love for her group, wanting to keep the memories of them continuing. It is symbolism meant to counteract how Mero and Kano approach singing, with them both having technical prowess, but singing for others and not themselves. It is this that defines the group, as they are only as strong as they are as a group. Episode 11 opens with the video featuring Kimura having blown up to 2.2 million views. It shows how it touched both JELEE fans and Kano, kind of like a love letter to their group. We see as Yoru's art is not appreciated and marked up by Kano's mother. This is where Yoru's self-doubt and worth are challenged once again. This is mirrored by Kano, who does not know what or who she is singing for anymore. Kiui and Yoru are hanging out, with people from their past making fun of the two of them. Kiui finds her courage and tells them off. She reveals why she clouded her real life and persona, because she wanted to find a place for her to belong and feel accepted. This inspires Yoru, and she finishes the drawings in her style. Kano's mother is pleased with this, and Yoru decides to negotiate something out of the artwork. She wants JELEE to be allowed to perform. This works, and JELEE is going to publish the completed song at this concert. We then see as Kano tries to get over her fears of self-doubt in front of the audience, but she flounders until Mero, of all people, inspires her. She tells her to look in front of her, and in front of her is a jellyfish, a sign of the whole group and love that they've come to find within each other. The song is about adversity and how they keep pushing forward, something indicative of the entire series. It's a touching finish to the show, surrounded by amazing visuals and snow falling down on them. We watch Kano and Yoru make up and find some solace within each other. The credit roll goes by and invigorates all of JELEE. Mero, of all people, recognizes this and talks to Kano's mother about it, which prompts Kano to burst into tears, realizing that her mother finally accepted her. The end of the show wraps up all of the loose ends. It shows how Kimura now has a fan of her own, something similar to her who found solace in JELEE's music. It's an amazing callback to the beginning of the show within her own character arc. We see Kano getting congratulated by her mother at graduation, showing how much she has grown as a person and singer. Kiui does a live stream and says that it's okay to be an outcast, as she will always be there for people like herself. Yoru gives advice to her sister who wants to try and sing. We see Mero and Kano getting coffee together, mending that bridge from before. It is a touching end to an amazing series full of great music, animation, and character development. If you haven't seen Jellyfish Can Swim in the Night, this video is not doing it enough justice. This is the most underrated show from this year thus far, and sincerely should be getting a lot more attention than it is. Thank you all for listening to me ramble about a show filled with love, and I appreciate all the support on the recent Tokyo Ghoul video. Uploads will continue like this in the future, so if there's anything you would like to see reviewed, let me know in the comments below.